Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video, and in this video I wanted to put together a guide to show you guys where you can find all of these secret hidden chests in the underbelly of the new Leviathan raid. These are the chests that correspond to the keys that you earn from completing the encounters and boss fights within the raid, and opening them will reward you with tokens as well as legendary and even exotic engrams, so they are well worth your time. As it currently stands, we found a grand total of 8 different chests. Now, whether there are more will of course remain to be seen, but for the time being, these are all the chests that we have found in the raid. So, if you do enjoy this video and you do find it helpful, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below if you have any questions. Now, to begin with, we're going to start on the outside by loading directly into the raid, and what you want to do is run down the bridge and drop down to the lower layer. Walking forward will then bring you to this room, and inside this room there are 6 levers. From left to right, that is 1, 2 on the first pillar, 3, 4 on the second pillar, and 5, 6 on the final pillar. Pulling the levers in the correct order will open a door that will allow you to access the underbelly, the industrial looking part of the ship with all the pipes and whatnot. The combination you want is 1, 5, 3, 2, 4, 6. You need to do this relatively quickly, but you do still have a little bit of time in between each pull. If you do it right, the levers will go all the way down. If you mess it up, they'll go part way and they'll reset. Do it correctly and you'll get a prompt that says the way is open. And now we can work our way up to the tower to the entrance. It is worth calling out that if you want to get to some of these chests, you will want to be as part of a team. You can, for some of them, do them as a team of 3, but of course if you do have an entire raid team, it's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. See, the way this raid is structured is that when you're inside, going through your boss encounters, completing an encounter will allow you to move on to the next one, but it will also allow you to go and access the underbelly of the ship by going through another door. You can then go down there, look for these chests. However, in the event that you finish the raid and you just want to go and get the chests or use your keys, then you can also open a door from the outside and go straight in without having to replay the raid, which is kind of handy. So, after opening the door, and of course running all the way up the tower, you will get to this point. That would normally be closed if we hadn't have done the lever combination. But if you then run forwards, across the pipe, and you jump inside, you will then see that despite the fact that it looked like you were going into some sort of black void that was almost like going to kill you or something, it actually takes you directly inside. You can see all the lights, and you can then start running down this ninja warrior looking obstacle course. If you get to the end, you will then see this raised platform on the left. Inside is a lever which can then activate the fan. If you then pull that lever and jump on the fan, and as soon as you get to the top, what you want to do is take a left and go down into this corridor here. Run all the way to the end and you will get to a door. To the side of the door there is a lever. You will typically find that if you are part of a team, you won't be able to interact with the lever to begin with. Just give it a few seconds, the prompt will show up, and then upon pulling it, it'll open the door. Now, it's worth noting that the chests within the raid are split into 2 categories. You either have the ones that are just well hidden in sort of alcoves or, places that you have to intricately get to, and then once you find them, you can open them with the key. Or you have the other set of chests that are hidden behind these big, black, ornate doors with these gold designs on them. In order to open these doors, you have to deactivate the security. In this room, you will see a load of sentry turrets called Watchers. If they spot you, then after about 4 seconds, they'll put up an invulnerable shield and the door is locked. In order to deactivate the security, you have to destroy all of the Watchers at the same time. If you kill one of them, the other ones will be triggered and they will then do the same thing. This is partly why you want to have a team, because of course you can then sneak around the room and you can then position yourself so you can all kill the Watchers at the same time. You have a very small window before they put the shields up, so you do need to move quickly. You can of course pay attention to the visibility cone. The red light is essentially where they can see, so you can walk behind them, you can walk quite close to them, provided you're not in their line of sight. If you do get spotted, then you can just simply leave the room as a team, the doors will close, and upon pulling the levers, it will reset the room. But if you do successfully take out all of the security bots, the security system is deactivated, the door opens up, and this is where you will find the engine chest. This is chest number 1. Moving on from there to chest number 2, what you then want to do is go directly from where you just were, run all the way down the engine room to the end, take a little right, and then go and take that door at the very back. You're then going to drop into this room with the fans. For those of you guys that saw the original Destiny 2 gameplay reveal trailer, then this is that segment where we saw the Guardians running through. If you jump through the second fan and then look up to your left, there is a raised platform. Jump up here and you'll then find the next chest. This is the Ventilator chest. Now, this is of course one of the other ones that doesn't require you to deactivate any systems. This is just well hidden, so find it, open it, there's your loot. Next up for chest number 3, from that location, if you then drop down from that raised platform and continue to work your way through the fans, if you then go to the end, there is another lever you can pull to activate this fan. Jump on it, it'll act as a lift, taking you to the very top, and then once you get up there, You then want to go through the doorway on the left, the one that is lit in white as opposed to red. Go in there, take a left, and you will then see this tube, this red tube. You can drop all the way down to the bottom, and once you get down there, you will then reach another doorway with another lever, and this is of course another security room. This room is pipeline. Now in this situation, the sentry bots are spread out a little bit wider. I don't actually have the pipeline key, so I didn't bother taking them out. But as soon as you enter the room, if you swing right and right again, you can see this is the fancy door. This is of course where the pipeline chest will be located. Moving on from there to chest number 4. What you then want to do is go back to the doorway that we just came in from, and instead of going right to where the chest is, if you go to the left, there is a fan. You can jump on that. That'll raise you up to the second platform I just spoke about. You can of course see more of the sentry bots there. If you follow it all the way around, take a right and cross over, you will then see another doorway, and you can then go through there. Now if you pay attention to the location, you'll actually see this is basically where we just came from before, where we went up the fan and then we took a left and dropped down the pipe. This is basically allowing us to get back up there, but instead of going down from whence we came, we're then going to take the left, which is the second entrance, the one that is lit in red. You're then going to go through the tunnel, take a first right, drop down from there, and you'll then work your way into this area here. Now if you guys have done the raid, you'll recognise that this is the place just before Emperor Callus. This is a shortcut to the final boss, essentially, but it's also how this whole place links together. You'll see the place itself is actually quite confusing. It is kind of like a little labyrinth in itself, but they do link in with the raid itself. So this is basically the central point. We're now going to switch over to the other side, going through the tunnels to the end. You then want to jump up to the raised platforms, jumping further up, and then up to this area with these sort of small screens. You'll then see there are some platforms above this mist. If you land down there, you will die, so you want to make sure you jump across them correctly. Jump to the very end, and then follow the path all the way around, up to the very top, and then take a right, follow by left, and you get to another doorway. This is another security room, and this time we are at the Conduit chest. When you walk inside, you can of course drop down to where the fan is, and then you will see all the sentry bots placed down here. Now it's also worth calling out, something I didn't mention earlier, is that when you go in these areas and if you mess it up and you need to reset, often you'll find there are multiple doors to an area. So we just dropped down from the fans, but there's also a door at the very back of this room. You can go outside any of these doors if you mess up and then close them to reset them, so you don't necessarily have to come out from the same place you started. You can often use this to pick a more advantageous location to begin. So in this situation, since I had the Conduit key, we decided to reposition ourselves, kill all the watchers, run back, and that is of course the next chest, the Conduit chest. So of course, if you get a key, and it's the Conduit key, then this is where you want to go. And luckily got my first Exotic Engram. Now, for the next chest, if you go back to the doorway that is at the very end of the Conduit room, the doorway that we actually used for our successful run to take out the watchers, you will then find this metal grate door, and there's a light above. If you jump on the platforms nearby and jump up to there are actually some pipes that you can walk across. Bear in mind that down below, again, is a kill box. If you fall down there, you will die, but you're now in the irrigation area. If you follow the pipes all the way across the top, you will get to another entrance on the opposite side. And as soon as you drop down, take a right, and this is the irrigation chest. Again, one that doesn't need a security deactivation. It is simply a chest for you to find. Now, for the next one, what you want to do is go back from where you just came. So cross the pipes, get back into the Conduit room, the one where there was a fan at the beginning, and you then want to activate the lever, pull yourself all the way to the top, and then once you start walking through, follow the footage that you can see in front of you and follow the path that we are following. Basically, we're just going to be hugging our way all the way through this area. We're going to go back across the jumping platforms that are again above the mist, the kill box, and then we're going to go back down into the red tube, follow all the way back into the central chamber, the area that once again is outside of Callus's throne room, and we're then going to cross back over to the opposite side. This is the point where it can get a little bit hard to follow them. There are so many different ways that you can enter these areas, depending on whether you're going from the start of the raid, if you're going from within the raid, or of course depending from where you came. So you might need to try and sort of piece this area together yourself. But the point is, back past the throne room, dropping into this room, you can then look up, and you can then jump up on the platforms until you get to this tunnel. If you go in there, take a left, you can then drop back down below into this fan. Now, of course, in this situation, the only purpose of dropping down is simply to activate the lever, so the lift can take you to the very top. So once you get up there, what you then want to do is walk out the doorway, take a left, drop back down through this red tube. We've been here before. You guys should recognize it. We're back in the pipeline area, so what we're going to be doing is jumping up onto the fan once again, following the walkway all the way around, but this time instead of going across to the right, we're going to go to the left. Walk through this red tube here. There'll then come a point where you need to crouch in order to get through this tight space. You can then take a left into this room, follow the path all the way around until you get to the very end. You drop down again, and we're now outside what is referred to as Drain, another one of these sentry watcher rooms. So you go in here, and of course you then need to take out these sentry turrets, and you then find over in the back in the corner is another one of those big doors, and that is of course where you'll find the Drain chest. This one is actually one of the easier rooms given the way that these sentry bots are laid out, so it's actually pretty easy to find them, kill them within the time limit, and then go to the chest. And that is of course my second exotic from just opening those 3 chests. Now, for the final 3, what I actually decided to do, because it was getting a little bit confusing, was just to reset the raid and load back in the beginning and come directly from the pipe room. It's often useful for yourself when you're kind of trying to go around and find these chests to set yourself a home point, if you will, someone that you can kind of work from, and if you get a little bit lost, then you can of course go back from there. So starting again from as if you've opened the door by pulling the levers, running through these pipes, what you then want to do is cross the Ninja Warrior platform again, go up the fan, but now instead of doing the left that we did originally, we're going to run directly forward. We're going to run up the ramp, we're then going to take a left, followed by another left, and if you then follow that all the way to the end, you get to the transfer room, again another security room that needs deactivating. And then as soon as you come in, I actually took a little bit of a longer path here, but if you turn right as soon as you enter, you'll find the next black ornate door. So if you have the transfer key, this is where you'll want to go. After that, for the next chest, what you then want to do is go back to the door that we just came in, and instead of taking the right to where you found the transfer key door, what you want to do is run to the back left of the room, go through this area. You'll actually notice the axe icon above the doorway. Take a left, crouch down through this sort of dark tunnel, chamber sort of thing. If you want to move faster through these chambers, you can actually just spam jump, and you hit your head against the ceiling, making you move faster forward. Once you get out, you take a left, and you then walk through to another doorway, and this time we are in the armory. Again, same principle, another security bot room, so if you have the armory key, destroy the security bots, run to the back of the room to the right, and that is where your armory key door is. Then for the 9th and final chest, what you then want to do is go back from where you just came, jump down into the dark tunnel thing again, and you'll basically come back out into the transfer room. So you'll pull the lever to open the door, and then once you go inside, what you then want to do is take a left. You run forward, you go through the door with the red light, and you will then come into an area where you can jump up onto some raised platforms. Once you climb up there, you then run directly forward. Ignore the doorway just ahead of you, that actually leads outside the raid, so what you want to do is take a right into the red glowing doorway. Go the way up the ramp, go to the very back of the room, through the doorway with the red light, and once you're in there, you then want to take a left, then take a right once you're inside, and you will see this big cylindrical spinning chamber. However, don't let that distract you. What you want to do is jump up on the left platform, go to the back, and you will find the Aqueduct chest. So in total, that is 9 different chests. Engine, Ventilator, Pipeline, Conduit, Irrigation, Drain, Transfer, Armory, and Aqueduct. As mentioned, there could well be more, and if you guys do find any more, then by all means let me know, but for the time being, hopefully that's helped you guys. If you guys get some of those keys as drops, then now you know where to take them to get your loot. Definitely make sure you do claim it, because there is the potential for some exotic engrams, so it's well worth your time. Thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.